Are you looking forward to stepping in the Gen 3 Evo this weekend?
Yeah, I've already driven the Gen 3 before, but this is the Evo car, so it's a new tire compound, softer tires, and mainly as well we get the four-wheel drive and the pit boost. So I'm looking forward to, but to be honest, to be very honest with you, the main reason is not even because it's a Gen 3 car or anything like that. It's because it's my comeback to Formula E after 1 year, and with a top team. So I'm really looking forward to racing with a team like Nissan. Of course, I've been sitting in the sidelines as a reserve driver, looking how they're working, and now getting the chance to actually work as a driver is extremely exciting, and I'm grateful for that chance.
When you're looking at Nissan's strength this season, where do you see the car performing the best on this layout?
So, it's hard to compare because Berlin is a track like no other. It's I don't know if you can call this asphalt or whatever this is. It's a very specific surface. And this changes how the car is generating temperature. It changes how the car is behaving on the corners. And you always see some different teams stand out here, which doesn't look like the picture of the rest of the season. So I don't know how Nissan will do here. And it's hard to answer your question. Of course, if you look back to the season, they've been performing super well, not only in quali, but also in the race. Obviously, they're leading both championships. Oh, they're leading the driver championship and second on the teams.
And they're leading the manufacturer.
They're leading the manufacturers as well, like you said. So, it is quite easy to make a point and a conclusion that they've been extremely successful. But Berlin is particular. And last year, the Nissan cars didn't do extremely well here. So, the team is coming in with some new ideas. And hopefully this year we can be performing as good as any other round or even better.
And it's probably raining this weekend?
And it's probably raining, so it shuffles things up a lot.
What have you learned while being on the sideline / being reserve driver coming from a full-time seat?
Honestly, you learn, I won't lie to you, you learn a bit less because many of the times you need to rely on what other people are saying. So, we can both go and live an experience, whatever, visiting a city. You can go visit Berlin, and I can go, but you only know how Berlin feels once you actually went. If not, it's just words from other people's experiences, and you could go and have a completely different opinion. And like driving the car, it's exactly the same. I can, go to Miami or whatever, or to Jakarta, and watch the session, listen to what Ollie and Norman have to say, but you don't really know until you actually have lived it for yourself. So you learn less. You can get some general trends, but you learn less than as a main driver. But I focused a lot on learning about how the drivers are acting outside of the car, how they're giving feedback. Obviously, both Ollie and Norman, they're more experienced drivers than I am, even though I'm already as well getting a bit older. But they have a lot, they taught me a lot on the way they're giving the debrief, giving information to the engineers. That's where I try to focus the most.
We already mentioned that Nissan is leading drivers and manufacturer and second in the team championship. How does stepping in with 4 races to go affect your approach to delivering results, even if you're just stepping in for 2 races?
So, how I see it, I want, basically almost repeating what you said, right? Like they're fighting for the drivers' championship. They're looking pretty good on that. The team championship is very tight. At the moment they're second, but it will go on probably until the very last race. Every point matters. And the manufacturers, I cannot remember very well, but I think they're doing very well on that. So there's 2 ways I can help them, and also help myself in the process. Is score points, because then I'll help them in the team championship and manufacturer, of course. And if in the process I can try to help Ollie in any way, that would make me extremely happy as well. So the best weekend outcome possible is leaving Berlin with some points in the bag for the team and for myself, of course, and having helped Oliver in one way or the other. Or maybe he doesn't need my help. Maybe he will just lead both races and win easily. You never know. But I want, like any other person, any other job, you want to feel and be useful and be feel like you have done a good job. That's what I want in the end of the day as well.
You have raced through multiple eras from Formula E. What is the most challenging part of adapting to this generation car?
I've raced Gen 2 and Gen 3, and now I'm racing Gen 3.5, yes. So really, once you've gotten the hand of the Gen 3, I think the Gen 3.5 is not such a big step, you know, it's just an evolution, as the name suggests. I'm not in a place to answer this question yet, because I haven't gotten to grips with the 3.5 car. But I guess the most challenging will be to adapt to the new tire compound, which is softer. There's more degradation. It changes the way you have to drive the tires. I'll need to get used to that. And once I get used to that, I'll try to get the good feeling for how the four-wheel drive works. I've done very few laps on testing with it, and I have plenty of room for improvement. So that's probably the main challenge. Adapting to how the car balance, the car behavior feels when you're in four-wheel drive. And also the approach speed, you arrive in the next corner is so much higher. So that changes your brake point. And then readapting the brake point for that higher approach speed, that's also not an easy feat, I would say. And to finalize, I would say the hardest transition I've ever done was actually from Gen 2 to Gen 3. That was very tricky.
I think like a lot of people struggled, and as you saw that a lot of drivers who were like great in Gen 2 were like struggling in
My first season of Gen 3 was my worst in Formula E. I didn't adapt at all, season 9. And then in season 10 I got quick again. But in season 9 it was like a dip in my performance. It took me some time to get used to. Such a specific car to drive. But once you get a hand of it, it's okay.
You also drive an ELMS and had a race weekend last weekend, and are stepping in for Nissan. How do you prepare the switch to this race weekend in those different series?
So before going to ELMS, I did 3 days in the simulator in Nissan, and then I arrived a little bit late in Imola for that reason. And also this week I did another day in the sim, so there's plenty of prep. Even with all the racing going on, I could prepare for the race.
What is the best advice you have ever gotten?
Best advice I have ever gotten. Wow, that's a tricky one.
I know.
I've got a lot of
I
advice.
have a podcast and also ask my guests that, and I always have like totally different answers.
I guess there's...
What's
depends on the context, as so many have been valuable to me. Let me link it
Just
to
in
racing.
general.
Let me link it to racing maybe. Okay, so it is very specific, it won't be like a live lesson, but especially for a race weekend like this one, which I'm having, things will not feel perfect, I guess. I'll always feel like I could have done a better job because I will not be at my 100%, most likely. And it's so easy to like completely kick the bucket and give up on a good lap. And sometimes, even if it doesn't look perfect, if you just finish the lap doing the best you can, even if it's your 90% best, you could still end up with a great result. So many times in my life I was doing what I thought was a mediocre lap, very unhappy with the car, I said just stick to it, finish the lap, and it ended up being a great quality result or whatever. I think this can catch me off guard if I'm not focusing on that during this weekend. I want to always finish the job no matter what, and then do small iterations from that. I think that's it. So not a really life advice,
No,
more
but
of
it's
a
fine.
driver thing, but yeah.
I think you can.
And that I
also
got from a driver coach that's worked
Yeah,
with me many
but-
years. And
But also related to real life. That's like even if you think it's like already done, just keep going. You never know what the end result is.
yeah,
So you should tell your younger self with the knowledge you have now.
oh, you keep doing those difficult
I know,
questions.
but you have to think with these questions. Like this goes on social media.
What I
Maybe
would
you can
tell
help
my younger
someone.
self, I think, oh yeah. So I would tell him that sometimes the result, like whatever you do, like in your job or maybe I didn't end up as a driver, maybe I was, in my family people are lawyers, or if I was doing something else, the output of your work is less important than the relationship you create with the people working with you. I prefer to have a work which is 8 out of 10, but the team working with you is super happy with you, like 10 out of 10 happy, than the opposite, than the other way around. And it can be very selfish, focus on your work, but in the end of the day, opportunities appear because people like working with you. not necessarily because what you do has been exceptional. And if you can do both 10 out of 10,
Yeah.
that's great, but a lot of the times it's a trade-off. So that would be my advice.